Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about this ground beef for 1 hour. It's kind of a creative exercise. It's kind of sometimes you hit a wall and you think like, what could I do to make my day worthwhile? And I thought, well, this seems like a pretty low barrier to entry, but it also was going to challenge me very much because I have lots of great thoughts and concepts, but I fail to execute them all. And also, verbalizing is not something that I do very much. I don't, even when the camera is not on, I don't do a whole lot of talking. So I thought this was going to be something that I could really rattle off on. So we're going to go try about 60, maybe 61 minutes, assuming that my camera doesn't fill up. I got this new laptop and I was like, well, I spent a lot of money on it. I should use it for something. And then it's so bad. Even with like 16 gigabytes of RAM, it's so slow on the processor. So it's a bummer. So this is the one we're talking about. We're going to be using its distant cousin because it's a bit softer and it's ready to use in my supper tonight, which is going to be a beef soup with vegetables. So we'll take our crock pot liner, we'll put it right there, and this isn't an exercise to try to demonstrate how unhygienic I am, but I do think that will kind of come across. And listen, I'm cooking for myself. I don't really care about any of this. But we take the beef knife, slice it open, squeeze it out. It's got a nice gooey pink look to it. There's a lot of white in there, which I think is a mixture of fat and bone. So we just get that out as much as we can. We buy the freezer variation, and it says to use this by August 12th, right? Yes, August 12th. So that means you have about 5 or 6 months before you have to finally use this thing. And also, well, I was going to say that you could probably use it much later, but when we're coming to produce, raw meat like that, you probably should err on the side of caution. And we take this thing. I've had this spoon for about 4 years. Use it for my stroganoff, my spaghetti, my soup. Just, I normally have headphones on for this because my ears are pretty sensitive. But, well, I'm a brave boy, and I will just kind of chop it up a little bit. And get it all minced in there pretty good. Woo! And it smells like raw beef when you do this. Now, a problem with something like this, especially on the crock pot liners, you can't actually get it cut all the way. When we eventually get to the soup part, it will be big chunks that aren't really separate. It's kind of like one big beef bowl with a couple chinks in the armor that you can kind of cut away out a little bit. But and we take this and we rinse it off. That's ready for tomorrow. Okay. I've got the crock pot on high. I've got a timer on my phone for 56 minutes, which I'm recording with my phone, so we will just do it on vibes. I think I can safely show you what the beef looks like when it's cut up, just so you guys get a better idea of what we're dealing with here. Maybe. Whee! Maybe. Oh god, I'm gonna drop my... Okay. That's what we're dealing with. I used to pre-salt it, but now I just kind of let it slide. The only things you really need to season your beef and your vegetable soup with, get some MSG, some monosodium glutamate, a little onion powder, and some salt. You'll add a whole bunch of these when you add the vegetables, and then you'll put some salt in every bowl. And it's a surefire way to get a lot of... The reason that I bought, let's see, I probably bought, I would say 100 to 200 rolls of these a year, of this exact product. It used to be about $5.50. Now I think it's $6.50, which it's kind of creeping up there on if it's worth it or not. And the reason that we get 85% is because it tastes good. And it has decent macros. It has, according to this, now if you go online to Library of Congress, MyPlate, different bodybuilder sites, different whatever, they all seem to have different, slightly different nutritional labels for your various fat points for your ground beef. I'm sure most of you guys know, but that's kind of how you classify your meat, is how much of it is lean versus how much of it is fat. 85% seems like a good price point to where it's not too pricey, but it's lean enough that it's not gross. And since we use I would say we use probably about 95% of our meat for soups, the extra fat's not bad. It's bad in the sense that it's extra fat that doesn't get siphoned off. But that's also the good part about it, because you want some fatty stock in your soup for satiety reasons, right, baby? Yeah. So I was about to put this back in the freezer. No, we're talking about beef today, baby. When you go to Walmart, they'll typically have the frozen ones at 85%, and I think it's like 70, 73. Like, it's unacceptable. That is a really low quality cut of fat. It's not, I think that's okay if you're getting like, maybe like a 5-pound thing and just making a big thing of tacos or sloppy joe for a bunch of kids, as long as you drain the fat as much as you can. But you're talking probably about an extra 100, 200 calories per pound of beef, and it's all just fat. So it's not really worth it. Now, 80 is okay. 80 is okay, but once you've had 85, you really wouldn't want to go back to 80, because it's so fatty, and you kind of have like a scale of enjoyment versus nutritional worth, and I think 85 hits it best. Now, even so, I'd say about 2 months ago when I went, I had absolutely no beef in my house, so I had to get some. And so I ended up getting a couple 1-pound rolls of, I think it was 93%. It was about $7 a roll, or maybe like $7.50. A meaningful price change to something like, is this sustainable on my income if I wanted to just get this instead? It was an experiment. And when I put it in my soup, I didn't notice a thing. Which makes me think that it might be better to just bite the bullet and replace an old friend with a new, hot, skinnier version. I'm not so sure. But I've been eating a lot of hamburger all my life. This says it has 21 grams of protein per serving with 4 servings. There's 16 ounces here. 16 ounces in a pound. Something that I get mixed up a lot on. Ounces to pounds is it's hard for me. Ounces and cups and all that. And not to be too tangential, but we do have our friend Chicken here. And Chicken is going to make an appearance. Let's see, we're at 10 minutes. Oh God, I've already run out of things to talk about. So let's see here. Oh, 15% iron. I'm sure most of us have like a very frail, anemic vegetarian girl in our lives. They are not getting 60% of their daily iron serving by eating this 85% lean ground beef. And I guess we should probably talk about the fact that it is the Walmart brand. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Honestly, what do they label? Is it Kirkwood? No, Kirkwood is Aldi. Aldi uses Kirkwood. I would get their chicken, their frozen chicken tenders all the time. And the not chicken fries. I don't think it's called chicken poppers. Popcorn chicken. Yes. Now that's some good eating. I want to see what brand. I don't see any branding on it. Oh, Cargill Meat Solutions. Wichita, Kansas. Minimally processed, no artificial ingredients. So, the truth is, this probably is not extremely high grade meat, right? I mean, it's Walmart. But, sorry, my hands are cold. We gotta get a balloon pop. I don't really understand the whole hype about prebiotic soda. I just drink it because it tastes good. It's 20 calories. It's not that big a deal. That's what? Uh-huh. Come here, sweetie. Yeah. One day I'm gonna throw her in the pot of soup because I'm sick of her. I normally give her a little bit of cooked beef or chicken, just to fatten her up a little bit. I figure it'll make her last. It'll make her live a little shorter, and that's that much less that it's more upfront cost for food because I'm technically wasting food now, but that could end up paying dividends with less bags of food I have to pay for her later down the road. You know what I mean? Oh, good girl. But when I think of Walmart, Walmart brand like anything, it's not like it's diseased. It's not like it's astronomically bad or sickening. It's just cheap and readily available. Honestly, I prefer going to Aldi's. Aldi's has a really good thing going for them, but it's harder to get in their parking lot. And also there's the case of having to interact with someone. And also the fact that I've worked at Aldi's before, I know that they get judged on their processing speed, which means I had to play the role of the good, I have to be the good customer. Otherwise I'm ruining their life. So we're putting this in some hot water just for a little while. Normally if I just put it in hot water, it'll turn into cold water in like 30 seconds, but it'll be enough to defrost the hamburger so it's ready for tomorrow night's batch. So that's probably what I'll be eating tomorrow. But yeah, let's see if I can get another cousin out. Yeah, hey. It looks like I've got about 6 of these in my freezer right now. So we're chilling. Let's take a stock of how many. Let's see. So I've got 12 cans of carrots. I'm pretty low on potatoes. I've got, looks like about 10 cans each of the corn and the green beans. So we'll have to make a vegetable run. Probably on Tuesday. Maybe a little earlier. just to be safe. Maybe I'll go... No, I don't want to do it the day I work. We'll probably do it Monday. And then we'll have plenty of food to eat. But yeah, it seems like I always just get... I don't want to compare the whole real world to a video game too much, but it does seem like sometimes strangers are NPCs with an aggro radius, and you know, if you get too close or you do something, you aggro them, and then they feel forced to interact with you. That seems to be the case with me buying this hamburger and the ticket lady, the lady who wants to check your receipts. I fucking hate that lady, and it's nothing against. Well, it's kind of against her. I live in a world where I try to leave things better than I left them, and I try to give more than I take. And I'm lucky that I work in a situation where I can do that. My job is literally just to help people. And who's the receipt checker helping? Like, it's just an annoying presence. And I hate them so much. But I found a couple tricks that'll help you get out of Walmart with as many of these as you want. And you should pay for them. I don't shoplift. I think it's kind of a morally gray thing, whatever. I just do it for aesthetics. I think it's cool to just pay things and not take shortcuts. But if you want to avoid aggro with the cashier or the ticket checker, you have two strategies. One, put the receipt in your mouth. That's what I normally do. And then I normally just end up chewing and then spitting it out in the parking lot, because, you know, why not? Oh, like this one right here. I don't know if you can see that. All that ground beef right there. Okay, so it's $6.22. It's $6.22 a pound. Not bad. But yeah, are you ready to go? Hi there. And then it would make them uncomfortable to stop me and ask to see the receipt. And I would feel uncomfortable being asked to stop and show the receipt. So it's kind of like a mutualistic sort of thing where it's like, I'm clearly like not being non-compliant or saying, you know, fuck off. I'm not going to stop for you. It's just, you don't want to interact with me. I don't want to interact with you. We can just keep walking, right? And I get it. After we've been doing this shit for like 6 months, and you've never had an issue with stuff in my cart, like, can't we just like let it slide, let it go? Why do you still feel like you're doing a good thing by stopping me? I clearly am uncomfortable around whatever, right? If Walmart wants to, but whatever. But there's also a second strategy. If you don't like the taste of receipt paper in your mouth, you can go to a cashier. Now, this isn't a foolproof strategy, because normally they'll stop you anyway. They don't care if you went to the ACO or you went to the... They don't care. But if you find a cute cashier or something, or even just a friendly one, you can turn the weakness of Walmart into its strength. Because then you're forcing an interaction on somebody you want to engage with, instead of being forced to interact with somebody that you don't want to interact with. And this one works kind of good with kind of like a tangential third one of check however many exits there are at the grocery store. Some just have the one and you're kind of pigeonholed. You can wait for somebody with a big cart to go through and then you can just walk on by. Or you can take the other one. normally there can be like, there's one with like an astute old crow who just hates the world and is making everybody miserable. And then there's like, on the other side, there's like a fat 300-pound girl just playing on her phone. And you just walk past her. It's easy. Everybody wins on that. Oh my God, we're only 20 minutes into this. Oh yeah. Carne molida de res. It's not bad. But I think the reason that I haven't been going to Aldi's, one, it's harder to get in their parking lot. I think I said that. And the forced transit, the forced interaction, sure. But I don't think they have this level of fat on their hamburger. I think they have a much smaller beef selection, which makes sense. In general, anything you can get from Aldi's is going to be a better deal. It's just a freaking awesome store. I don't go there too much because they got some sweets in there that I really like. Which is really interesting, the way that Walmart, their candy and a lot of their chips and stuff, that doesn't really have any sex appeal to me. Despite it being like the major conglomerate who has all the things for the major common denominator of sick, obese individuals like myself. It doesn't draw that to me. At least not their specific sweets. Aldi's brand stuff, really, really good. Like their German chocolates, their frozen desserts, all of it. It's very good. But why are we eating 85% lean ground beef? Outside of it tasting really good. Well, we would like to recompositionize our physiques. At least a little bit. Not a little bit. A lot of it. I really value being handsome. I would like to be handsome one day. And somehow, eating like 4,000 dead cows is my winning formula for it. I discovered pretty early on in my life that I wouldn't say suffering. It's like I'm a glutton. That's what I am. I take not necessarily pride, but there's some sort of perverse pleasure about when I see food. I can't really stop. It's animalistic, really. And there's a perverse pleasure in filling my belly far beyond where it's comfortable to stop. It's like, I'm sick, I'm going to eat. And it's a way of kind of, I think, self-medicating to just make myself so sick that I have to lay down and sleep. That's definitely a part of it. And I think it's important to acknowledge that part of my psyche as I've tried different things. Like eating multiple small meals throughout the day, that definitely is not for me. It's just not. I like to eat one big fat meal every day. So kind of similar to like the OMAD diet. I used to do the OMAD diet. I would normally do beef stroganoff for that. But now I've gone to a healthier, healthy is relative, but a healthier version with this soup, where I take this 85% ground beef raw, I put it in a crock pot, and I cook it for about an hour. Then it'll brown. Once it's brown, we can add our canned vegetables. Why canned vegetables? Because they're easier. And I'm lazy. It's not hard, and they store super easy. But I just take my $10 can opener, and I just... Sorry, I'm supposed to be talking about the hamburger, not the can opener, but that's like a 4-pound dish. that I eat all at once. It makes about four and a half of these little red bowls that I buy from Walmart. I just shoop, 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 shoop. The first one goes down in about 30 seconds. I can eat the first bowl in probably about 2 minutes most of the time. Then I go and I get the second bowl, and the second bowl will take me like 15 minutes. And then just whenever I have the presence of mind to like, hey, we gotta go finish the soup, then I'll get the third, and then the fourth will be the top off, and I'm like, oh god. And then I grab a bunch of grapes, and then I head to bed. So yeah, the second component of that is not beef, but grapes. Or other fruits. If I really need a dopamine hit, I can go blueberries. They're much more expensive, but man, they got a lot of popping power. The last couple bags of grapes, they've looked so good, but they just haven't been there. They've been, kind of like waking up next to your mom the morning after, I guess, is the best analogy I can give for that. So that soup base, if we're going off of this, which I don't know if you should or not, but that says that this is about 960 calories. Undrained, which it is. It's undrained because we take it to the brim. We have that. Carrots, 3.5 times 20. That's 70 calories. Diced potatoes, 160. 70, 230 plus 960 plus 50 plus 120. So 170 plus 960 is 1130 plus about another 200. So we're looking at about a 1400, 1500 calorie meal. And it absolutely beats your ass when you eat it. Like I don't think the average person my height and weight could just put it down the way that I can. I think obviously your stomach can acclimate to anything, but it's definitely a diet for me. And then if we're feeling spicy, or if we feel like we got a good workout, we will add a can of chicken breast. There's a 16-ounce serving here. Wait, what? No, that's not right. Hang on. Let's look at this one. Okay. Yeah, it's 240 calories and 52 grams of protein. So, less than 5 calories per gram of protein, which is absolutely insane. And we cut off a little bit of the fat because we don't want it. So actually, I'm starting to think that we need to transition to an actual, like, just straight up chicken. But that's for later. Okay, so that'll take us to like 1700, 1800 calories for the pot of soup. And again, it's probably about 4 pounds of food at least. And all the liquid. Soup is goated when it comes to weight loss. It just is what it is. And then, oh shoot, what was I saying? Right. Like I mentioned earlier, I do partake in the grapeage a little bit. Those are a good mix of cheap. I'm also I would say, food addict. And nobody takes me seriously when I say that, because I guess I'm not big enough for it. But the binge eating cycle of not being able to stop with just a little bit, I mean, what else would you call it? I think we've all been there, where we let our impulses kind of take over, and we go out and we get some junk food, and we engorge ourselves to deal with whatever emotions we're having, and that's fine. I think I've taken it to an extreme level, and I've always struggled with it, and I've struggled with weight my whole life. But that's why the grapes are there. The grapes are there as a release, an encouraged release too. It's like if you had some like retarded guy, you'd like give him a fleshlight to like have a safe, healthy release for natural urges that he has to deal with. It's just what it is. So the grapes are super safe. Fruit in general is just kind of goated in the way that it's lots of sugar and lots of fiber. It's so satisfying. Anytime you get to lay down in bed with a bowl of just beautiful grapes, you realize that you are richer than the kings and queens of dynasties past. It truly is one of the most beautiful feelings of being human. Yeah. Other things you can do with this hamburger, you can just fry it, you can just brown it up in a skillet, and you could add a raw onion. I used to love doing that. It made the whole house smell like onions, obviously. Which some people like, some people don't. If this whole house smelled like onions all the time, I would not complain. I would get an onion candle, but I'm too scared to cut or to have open flames in my house. Same reason I don't have glass in this house, like anywhere. It's just not my thing. Who needs it, right? The same way with like cooking in the oven or cooking even on the stove. I don't do it very often because the risks are pretty low, but the severity of the risks are extremely high if they do happen. Combustion, a major house fire, if you break glass, that could fuck up like everything. That could be up to a 30-minute cleaning job, and you might get hurt severely. So, but yeah, so that's, and then let's see. So this is about 80 grams of protein. You don't have a lot of other protein sources in the vegetables, obviously. And that's why sometimes you would add chicken, which I really like the chicken. It really makes it a lot more fuller. But you also have egg whites. Towards the end of the soup, I would say probably about 10 minutes before you're going to get your first bowl, you can just pour these in there. These have expired for about 2 months, so I don't think we can use these anymore. Well, I didn't smell anything. But the carton's kind of bubbling a little bit. Let's see, there's 20 servings in here, 5. So if you drank this whole thing, you'd have 500 calories at 25 grams of protein. No, sorry. 100 grams of protein and 500 calories. So 5 calories per gram of protein. That's, as long as you can afford the macros, that's kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and dump these. Good riddance. I'll get some more at the store next time I go. Whew, I got really cold all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. Is this a blanket? No, it's not. What is this? Oh, it's a pillowcase. So I was pretty excited to share this creative endeavor with you guys tonight. And I was really looking forward to the gym tonight. It did not go so well. Monday morning, I did something to my back. I pulled it. I think it's definitely a flexion issue. Because if I'm loading up on the shoulder, it's going down here, putting the weight back down. So, and then, you know, flexing the back a little bit. I don't know what happened with that. I've been sitting playing video games a lot more recently, but that's been a pretty common trend for the last couple months. I don't think there's been an uptick. Maybe my posture's gotten worse. I did deadlift for the first time in a long time last week. And it was just a set on the hex bar. Up here. 135 pounds. 2 AMRAPs. Like, that I didn't notice anything when I did it. So, I don't know. I don't know about that. Oh, what else can you do with the ground beef? If you... I think you probably noticed when I was cutting it open earlier how it's kind of frustrating to squeeze it all out, even when it's perfectly unthawed. When it's partially still solid, you have to really kind of, unless you get a really good cut in there. But I don't wash my meat knife very often, so I try to be sparing about it to reduce the amount of bacteria that it introduces itself to in a romantic fashion. So I kind of like the fresh packets. I wish we could buy those pre-frozen. If that was the case, they would still probably be more expensive though. I do this because it's economical. If it's frozen, I can unfreeze it whenever I want. I would never take fresh beef and put it in the freezer. I would never do that. I would probably give it like a week or two after its expiration date, and then I'd just throw it out. That's just me. That's my life. That's how I want to do things. Because if you take fresh and then you go frozen, and then you go fresh again, you're gonna have freezer burn. You're gonna have different hang-ups like that. But this is just a frickin' solid brick. So yeah, I would say my workout tonight was pretty uninspired. I got a pretty good lift in yesterday doing regular bench. I did regular bench. We did 135 and then I did a 185, just a single rep, just to show that I could. I tried to do that at least once a week to get one rep of something that's like 95% effort. Just to show that I can. I think it's largely just performative, but it's also just some neurological adaptiveness to show, hey, this is something you do all the time. You need the muscle, so don't get rid of the muscle, but also, don't be scared of this motion. It's easy, and once we up the calories and we get some more muscle on, you'll be primed and ready to push that number through the roof. So 185 pounds, nothing to write home about really, but it feels really good for me because it's more than my body weight. And I know a lot of men can't bench their own body weight. That was a metric that I don't think I really hit that until about a year ago, at least consistently. And now I'm clearing it very easily. And that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Tonight I just went onto the treadmill for about 20 minutes, having a good time, doing some dancing. It was just me there. There was 2 like crackheads there when I first got there, but they left as soon as I got there, which was good for me. And the custodians were already gone, which was good because I needed to take a piss so badly. And sometimes they're cleaning the bathrooms when I first get there. And then I also can't change my pants. I didn't need to change my pants today because I got my good pants on. Well, they're good in some ways, but they're bad in the bad ways that, like, I can't, yes, I'll show you. See, the button on this thing just falls out. So anytime that I unbutton my pants to pee, I have to make sure I pop it back in. It's just because it needs to be super glued back in. I guess the hole that's holding the button is damaged. I guess I was just yanking it too hard in a fit of passion, and it just wore down. But these are, I think they're Lee's. I don't know if you can see. I think these are Lee's jeans, or Lee's something. So I'd kind of expect higher quality from them. But I'm not a tailor. Emily is. Or at least that's what she says. That's her passion. And we can use her sewing kit. That's probably what I'd be doing right now if I wasn't talking about ground beef. I would be playing Stardew Valley. Which is, honestly, it's kind of the perfect video game, in a way, if you mod it, which I do. I paid $8 to join Nexus Mods Vortex and just auto-downloaded like 90 mods. And it's been the best time I've had playing that game ever. And I've put hundreds of hours into that game. But this playthrough is really fun. Bachelors and bachelorettes who would really appreciate and depreciate 85% frozen ground beef from Walmart. Pam would be a big fan. So I think Penny would be on board too. She's health conscious, I would say. Trying to think. No, I mean, she doesn't really scream as like a pinnacle of health or anything. She's just, I mean, she's more focused on the bigger pictures of things. So I really appreciate that about her. And like I said, like they're in the trailer. They're probably pretty poor growing up. So I think she's probably eaten a lot of hamburger meals just like me. So I think, hey Penny, I'm making stroganoff. I'm making soup. I'm making spaghetti. You want to come over? I'll get some Papa John's. I think she'd be all over it. Leah would probably be the least likely to go along with it. In fact, I think if she saw this video, she would probably never like want to be in an intimate sort of relationship with me. At least not in a way where we're making meals for each other, because it's an obvious incompatibility. Like her favorite meal is a salad, which is fine. But I'm just saying, like getting a low grade meat like this for the convenience instead of like the love of cooking, probably not her thing. I think honestly, whoever would be most down for it would probably be Alex. The dude is probably kind of a foodie, but also he lives with his grandparents, so he probably eats pretty bland food anyway, and this is cheap, efficient protein. So, just kidding. But yeah, I think you'd like it. Sebastian kind of looks anemic to me, so he probably doesn't eat a lot of meat. Isn't that right, baby? I bet Demetrius makes some pretty good burgers every now and then, though. But yeah, Sebastian, I mean, I think he has the anemic look because he just doesn't leave the house ever, except to go smoke. But you know, you gotta get some cholesterol in you. It's good for you. And who else? Who are the other bachelors? Bachelorettes. Emily, vegetarian. She definitely wouldn't like it. Haley, it's too posh for her. She wouldn't like it. Elliot, probably not. Probably a seafood guy. So there's Penny and Alex who would be down for it. Abigail, I'd say probably not. I'm guessing that she's getting some pretty decent meals at home. Like I think she'd be down for it. Like if I had her over and it's like, hey, we're gonna have some hamburger helper with this 85% ground beef from Walmart. She'd be like, okay, that's chill. She'd have a bowl or two, but you know, nothing to write home about. It's nothing that she would make, but I think she'd be okay with it. This is starting to get a little, I don't know, 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 A little less solid. It's starting to melt a little bit. There's 12 bachelors, right? Harvey would. It's a pussy. He wouldn't like it. Shit. Who else is there? Maru. I don't really know that much about Maru. But I'm assuming she's probably eating just about the same things that Sebastian is. I feel like she'd be pretty open-minded to it. But she seems more like a soup and salad kind of girl. Is there anybody else? There's Sam. I don't know very much about Sam. I don't care. Now, I told you I'm playing this with all these mods. There's actually, normally the first thing I do is I rush over and I marry Penny because she's everything I'd ever want. But there's two problems. One, it's a small thing, but everybody on the internet seems to think that Penny is fat, and I've never gotten that. But in these, everybody's got cute new outfits and stuff, and she does seem to have a couple extra pixels compared to everybody else. And her being like the fat, soft teacher archetype, I could see it. You don't see it in her base portrait at all. Like at all. But her mom is unhealthy, so she could be unhealthy. She's got slightly bigger boobs than everybody. So, I don't know. I don't know. So I have to do some more evaluation on, if she's the body type that I want to marry into and have kids with. But there's some pretty exciting bachelorettes in, I think it's called East Scarp and Ridgemount, something like that. And Stardew Valley Expanded, of course. Sophia is not really my thing. I think I'm gonna make them all my girlfriend just to see all their events, and then I will deliberately break up with all the ones that I don't want to marry. And then I will marry one of them, probably. There's Ideen. She's kind of British coded. She's funny. She's funny as fuck. I like her. There's Maddie, who seems a bit kind of head up her ass a little bit. She's cute. Who was the other one? Like, I was gonna say Nora. That's not. Nora is like a professor. She's a redhead. Not like ground beef red, but something like that. There's two, really. One of them's Jade. She seems a little too juvenile for me. I don't know that I'm really into that. There's Victoria. Yes, Victoria is... She's like shy, cute. She like wants to be involved, but she's too... So I kind of like that. I can't remember who the other one is. Maybe her name's Flore. That kind of sounds right. Now that I think about it, yeah. I'm leaning towards her or Ideen to marry on this farm, but I don't want to make any commitments at this point. I just want to experience and learn more about everybody before I rush into things with, domestic bliss with Miss Penny again. But again, like I always marry Penny, and I've always had a good time on the farm. So if that's what happens, it's fine. She can make some hamburger for us. Okay. So we've got a little bit of brown in there. We're still looking more pink than brown, though. Let me see if I can get you over there real quick there, baby. Whee! Whoop! Let's see here. See? So we've been going about 50 minutes, which means we've probably been cooking in about 45 minutes. So it'll probably be ready for the vegetables in about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll wrap things up here. I'll probably try to get this out as soon as possible. And I apologize if anything felt tangential or that I wasn't really talking about the hamburger for the whole time. Like I said, I had some back issues this week. I've had chronic back issues my whole life, and I'm trying to get past that. I don't normally notice it unless I do some sort of major fuck up, which I guess I've done. I'm gonna try to sleep right on it tonight, and that bummed me out. And then I had some really stressful bouts driving. It was pitch dark when I went into work tonight, and there was a train stopped. Not going, but like it actually stopped. So it's like, great. Now I have to find the way to work by like going around, finding where I can finally go around this thing. And I have to do it on roads that I don't know, and I have to do it in the dark, and I have to do it with all these blinding lights in front of me. I think that is a major traffic violation. And I've started to think, as antisocial as it is, I'm thinking I might start turning my blinds, my brights on, anytime that somebody has white LED headlights. It's antisocial behavior, but having white LEDs blaring on the road in the middle of the night, that is also antisocial behavior. It makes me very angry in a way that I can't control it, because it's just like if somebody just came and put a flashlight in your face. And like, well, if I didn't put the flashlight in your face, I wouldn't be able to see your color of your pupils. It's like, I can't see anything when you do that. We have to share the road. If you can't see without blinding other people, you shouldn't be on the road. And I can't see for shit with my headlights, but I just go slower. It's okay. That's the other thing. I got a dainty little, I think it's a 4-cylinder. And I need to put some more air in that tire since it's been cold. And so I never go more than 30 miles per hour, because I'm just driving in town, starting and stopping, it's nothing. I had to go on the highway, and I had to push it to 60 miles an hour, which is not something I've ever done in that car, except once, and it was freaky. And I never had to do it in the middle of the night where I'm like looking at my phone trying to see where my exit is. So it was a bit of a rabble-rouser, but I had a pretty peaceful drive home from the gym, which is good. There were no pedestrians, there was no cats flying around, there was nothing like that. Not even a single oncoming car. So I didn't have any like paralysis or blind rage. I was listening to some stupid Stardew Valley facts instead of listening to Taylor Swift, which I would say I've put as many calories per 4-ounce serving. So 240. I would say probably about 240 listens to the song Karma by Taylor Swift. Pretty good. Karma is my boyfriend. It's actually not bad. They play it on the radio all the time. I was like, there's something kind of quirky about this. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's by Taylor. So I'm allowed to like it. I thought it was by some contemporary artist or something. I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. But so yeah, this is not nearly enough protein to get me to the promised land where I want. But it's cheap. It tastes pretty good. There's a big dopamine hit. Even if I didn't do this, even if I just cooked this up au natural and just bare-fisted it with some salt, the dopamine hit you get from the salt and the fat, that's really all you need. You don't need anything else that's fancy. Now, sometimes I get led astray and I just think of food as dopamine hits these days. It's not really even to satiate me, because this even if it's calorically kind of a little bit on the short side, which is exactly what you want when you're on a diet and you're trying to lose weight. It's everything you would need for a day of nourishment. You got vegetables, you got meat, you got your minerals. It's enough energy, it's enough fuel to keep me going for a day. Because my days aren't that hard, even on days where I'm lifting as much as possible. So anytime that I don't think of it in the middle of the day as like, I'm hungry. It's like, I'm bored and I need a stimmy. So let's get some food in me. Then I grab some grapes, or I get a protein bar at work. And protein bar, about 10 calories per gram of protein. That's on the cusp of candy bar territory. I think it's a decent allowance in most situations, but I try to limit them for sure. But yeah, sometimes the devil really calls me, and I get like a Papa John's stuffed crust pizza. You just have like the melted cheese in the nice soft breading. It's orgasmic. It's hard to resist that, especially when you've been coded to really enjoy that stuff. So I've tried to adapt a couple of different strategies. I think I need to have one solid cheese hit per week to be like, damn, I love cheese. That was great. I'm not really sure where I should put that in. I really like chicken dip, but the one thing that I really like about the chicken dip is that you get to eat the chips with the chicken dip. And the bag of chips, 1,700 calories. You use about half the bag of chips for one thing of chicken dip. And then the next day, you eat the rest of the chips. Or you double up on the chicken dip. You make like a double case, or you go back to back with it. And then you're incentivized to save the chips for the rest of for the next serving of dip. And that makes sense, but then that's still pretty calorically heavy, because the chicken's good and the cheese, it's not terrible, but there's also a block of cream cheese in there too. So macros, it's not great. Calorie wise, you can make it work. It's definitely one or 2 days of surplus if you're doing that, and you don't necessarily want to do that too often. So I don't think chicken dip is the answer for that. I think it might be either like jalapeno poppers. I think that's the one. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe just going crazy on some baked potatoes. You could do like 4 baked potatoes. You could do like 2 baked potatoes and then 2 baked potatoes and then, I don't know, like maybe a bag of like popcorn, and just have like a fucking starch day. There's like no protein in that at all. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably not great. Or sticking with like get some chicken, and just find a way to make cheese appetizing on it. Because if you just heat up the can of chicken, it's not really that appealing. And if we're trying to appease our need for pleasure by using food as pleasure, you have to have, it's got to have some sex appeal to it. Cheese has a lot of sex appeal to it, but if you just put some sprinkled cheese on that, it's still not that enticing. Or at least historically it hasn't been. Maybe I can find a way to make that work. Where are we at? 59 minutes. So we're probably going to go to, we'll go like to 61 minutes. Just like, it'd be embarrassing to stop this early, to stop, and then the video would be 59 minutes in case we had to like edit out something or whatever it is. So not to have any dead air though. Hey baby, you want some hamburger? She's more of a chicken girly, but it's okay. That's why we don't love her. Nice presidential. Keep refrigerated or frozen. Thaw in refrigerator, microwave. Keep raw meat and poultry separate from other foods. Wash working surfaces, cutting boards, utensils, and hands after touching raw meat or poultry. Cook thoroughly. I never understood the process of a meat thermometer either. Now, I get some people can swear by it, and maybe there is kind of a trick to it, but anytime I've tried it, like boiling chicken or something, you stick it in there, it's like, well, great, you're reading the temperature of boiling water, which is, what, 304 degrees? So it's not really that helpful for me. But hopefully this creative endeavor taught you a little bit about myself and about the things that I put in my body. And maybe this will be a springboard for a new series. Maybe next video will be a 2-hour video on Diet Coke, and then we could do like a 3-hour, actually a 3-hour video on apple cider vinegar could go pretty hard. Yeah, we might do that.